Good evening. Welcome to the May 20th, 2025 School Committee meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. So first thing we're going to tackle will be open public comment. I do have 3 names on the sign-up sheet. We have about 5 minutes for open public comments, so if we can keep everything to about 2 minutes, that'd be great. So if the first name I see here is Chris Fisichella, if you'd like to come up. Just make sure you give us your name and your address, please.
My name is Chris Fisichella. I live at 30 Shoreline Drive in Foxboro. All right, so the first thing is I sent a couple of community inbox messages, and Dr. Burtis acknowledged she received at least one of them, and that was the only acknowledgement that I received. These are my notes that I'm going to speak from. You can have copies of these.
Thank you.
All right. So I told her my ex-wife was harming the children. She made no effort to report it, and she's a mandated reporter. I met with her and went over the relevant part of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Corey Advisory, and she banned me from the musical. This is her. That was a little bit odd. So the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, what she banned me from was the upcoming event was to sell tickets with other adults. So it wasn't like I was going to be like doing anything with kids. It just didn't make sense. So the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Advisory describes direct and unmonitored contact with children as a volunteer who chaperones an overnight field trip, drives students in his or her car on a field trip, or one who tutors students privately in a resource room, will be in an unsupervised setting with children. It would be appropriate, therefore, for the school or district to conduct query checks on the volunteers for whom student contact is unsupervised and more than incidental. And I end the quote. So the query advisory is, I kind of go over it, and this is my response to Dr. Burrell. She has a copy of that. This is the Corey advisory here. If you don't have it, it's on the web, but you can get it. But the second to last page, question 4, has really the working part of what they define to be unmonitored contact with children. So now the Foxborough Corey requirements describe regulated contact as an individual who regularly provides school-related transportation or volunteer who may have direct and unmonitored contact with students. So that's page 2 on paragraph 5. These are your own regulations. So my Corey record is, so her decision, and I'm talking about Dr. Burdos, is not intent with the Corey advisories from either of those sources at all, in my opinion. And you can read them yourself. I don't think it's in line with all. So what you're looking to do is monitor regular contact that involves direct and unmonitored contact with children. So it's not in line with MGL Chapter 71, Section 38. And that's an issue because we really need to all follow the law. And let me give you a copy of that, actually. That's important. So when you... so those...
We have about 30 seconds.
2 minutes, please. And 44, but thank you. So so my Corey record is not clear or clean. My ex-wife lied to the police in 2016. I broke a phone because my ex-wife was using it to harm the children. When I moved to Foxborough, the police made misrepresentations, and it's been a big mess. But but one case is out of the Supreme Court, and they affirmed sending emails. And then the other case is right now in the appeals court about the harming the children. So the superintendent's not cooperating with me with regard to keeping an accurate record of our minutes when I met with her, because I need to keep an accurate record. This is this is what the minutes are. There's nothing really earth-shattering. We're just chatting, but I need to have her sign this, or else it's not going to have any weight. And then let's see. So about the CORE regulations that I passed out, the statute allows the school district to obtain CORE records with regard to volunteers who have direct and non-monitored contact with children. And I submit they also require that contact to be regular. It's kind of how you read it, but if you don't read that, that's it. But that's it. So you need to determine, as a school, a priority, what volunteer positions have that direct and unmonitored contact. Because what you do is anybody who walks in the door fills out this CORE form, then they just decide if they ban you or not. That's how they do it. Even though you could be, off ground raking leaves, that's just how they do it. It's completely wrong.
Thank you so much, and I do appreciate
1 minute left.
this.
Sorry, that's fine. Thanks. And one more minute. And then, so they require all volunteers, regardless of their intended contact, to submit to a core evaluation, and that's overreaching. That needs to be revised. Page 2 on paragraphs 1 and 5 are overreaching. If you can fix those, they're roping in volunteers. And the statute is just concerned with terminating an employment relationship, and that's what the statute concerns, nothing about volunteers. So my requests, in my remaining 30 seconds, reverse her decision to bar me from the musical and ban her from barring me from the school to help with events where there's other parents present. If there's other parents, I should be able to go to that. Fix the Foxborough core requirements to exactly reflect what is written in the statute, MGL, Chapter 71, Section 38R, and respond to the reconstructed requests and have a report, basic harming of the children, DCF. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
2
Right, I
seconds
have
to spare.
Nicole Cantalupo and Melissa Glass are on the open public comment.
Hi, good evening. I am Melissa Glass, and I live in North Attleboro. I'm reading this for Jess Salley, who is an assistant at the Burrell School, and she was unable to be here tonight. I started my maternity leave around 12/7/17. Unfortunately, due to medical complications and being hospitalized for 2 days prior to the maternity leave, I had to use all of my sick time. I went back to work the week after February break on 2/26/2017. As I mentioned, I had to use all of my sick days for maternity doctor's appointments prior to the delivery of my son. I had to pray my son didn't get sick when he started daycare, or I didn't get sick because I had no sick time available. I was given 8 weeks unpaid maternity leave. This presented a huge financial hardship on my family. I also had to stop breastfeeding my son before going back to work due to my work situation and not having any place to pump at work. I did not have a room where I could just lock my door and put a sign up while at work. My other concern was who would take care of my students when I was gone pumping. We're stretched thin, and my students have lots of needs that can be difficult if a teacher is down an educational assistant. It was impossible to find extra help. The whole process caused me so much needless stress and economic hardships.
My name's Nicole Cantalupo. I live at 11 Woodlawn Road in North Smithfield, Rhode Island. Good evening, school committee members. My name is Nicole Cantalupo, and I am a first grade teacher at the IGO school, speaking on behalf of the Foxborough Education Association regarding the importance of endorsing a paid parental leave policy in our upcoming contract. I speak before you today as an educator of this district, member of this union, but first and foremost as a mother. I came to teach in Foxborough in the fall of 2023 when my son was just 7 months old. After teaching in my previous district for 7 years, I made the decision to transition to a position closer to home to spend more time with my child. I was fortunate to find a position in Foxborough that I am proud to hold. However, I knew that in changing school districts, the accumulated sick leave I had earned would not transfer, meaning I would need to start building my sick time from scratch. In Foxborough, teachers are allocated 15 sick days annually. New teachers in the district would need to work for 3 full years, taking minimal time off during that period in order to accumulate enough sick leave to take a fully paid maternity leave. In a profession where progress is often measured by the number of years spent earning maximum steps on the salary scale, advancing through different lanes, and achieving career milestones, it feels unjust that teachers should also be required to put in the years in order to build their own family. I became a teacher because I am deeply committed to the success and well-being of all children. It's both disheartening and troubling to feel that the district does not extend the same level of care and support to the children of its employees. It's 2025, and this is not a hypothetical issue, a mere talking point, or simply a retention and attraction tactic by other districts. It is a reality that affects real families. We like to refer to ourselves as a destination district for educators, but without these policies going into our upcoming contract, the same policies nearby districts have already adopted, we risk being the only ones considering ourselves a destination. We must prioritize supporting all families, all parents, and all children in our community. I hope that you join the FEA in supporting the families of our district so our educators can support their own children and the children of Foxborough. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The teachers and the ed assistants are a perfect segue for our next agenda item, which is the teaching and learning highlight. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, you're jumping ahead.
I got so excited, yay. We have a few sets of minutes here we have to approve first before we can get to the teaching and learning highlight. All right, we have some policy subcommittee meeting minutes here.
I make a motion to approve the policy subcommittee meeting minutes from April 18th, 2025.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? All right, now we are going to do roll call because we have Chelsea McHugh on Zoom. So we're going to say her name and when I call out, all in favor. So we'll start with you, Chelsea.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, I.
Aye.
Patrick. Perfect. All right, so those are approved 5-0-0. Thank you very much.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the policy subcommittee meeting minutes from April 30th, 2025.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? All right, we're going to start with you, Chelsea, again.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, I.
Patrick, aye.
Perfect. 5-0-0 on that. Those minutes are approved. Thank you very much. And that's it for minutes. So now we're going to get to teaching and learning highlights. So we have AP Research with Dr. Shannon Wazlewski.
I'm going to have my AP Capstone kids come up and talk to you all about AP Capstone.
Just remember, everybody, as you come up, when it's your turn to talk, you can move a microphone for you and do your best to just speak into a microphone. That way everyone can hear you at home too. And just let us know what your name is before you talk too. Take it away.
All right. Hello, school committee. Thank you for inviting us here today to talk about the AP Capstone program. We're here with the AP Seminar and AP Research students of FHS this year. I'm Sampreet Viduri.
Hello, everyone. My name is Suraj Krishnan. I'm an AP Research student.
I'm Sarah Polito. I'm an AP Research student.
I'm an AP Research student as well.
I'm Jackson Palmer. I'm an AP Seminar student.
I'm Luca Meyer, and I'm also an AP Research student.
I'm Elizabeth Brancato, and I'm an AP Research student.
I'm Ali Akhtar, and I'm an AP Seminar student.
I'm Jacob Moulton, and I'm an AP Seminar student.
I'm Nikunj Nagpal, and I'm an AP Seminar student.
So here is a picture of the AP Research and AP Seminar classes at FHS this year. The AP Research class is actually in front of the milestone board, which is basically comprised of all the major tasks that we had to complete this year. So we're all smiling because we successfully completed it on time. And that's just the AP Seminar class standing outside of the AP Sem class.
All right, so now we're going to introduce the AP Capstone program and just do an overview of what we did all year.
So AP Capstone is a program that is made up of two courses, AP Seminar and AP Research. So AP Seminar and AP Research are taken, so Seminar is taken first, and then you can take AP Research. Now, you don't need to take them consecutively. Some people have taken a year off and then took AP Research. And the first time you can take AP Seminar is in 10th grade. as an elective. And if you take seminar in 10th or 11th grade, it's considered an elective. However, if you take it your senior year, it's considered an English class. And for research, you can take it as early as 11th grade, which would be considered an English elective. However, if you take it your senior year, then you would take it as an English class.
So the AP capstone program is a interdisciplinary program. So it encapsulates like a bunch of different subjects into one. So as you can see up there on that chart, AP seminar specifically incorporates a bunch of different other AP courses and the content that they go over in one AP course, which is very different from the other classes, obviously. And then, next slide, yeah. So this is the AP seminar class, and here are some topics that we looked into and did some research on and put presentations together for. And some examples are water scarcity, fast fashion, and IP protection.
The AP Capstone program follows this framework, known as the QUEST framework. The first phase is the question and explore phase, beginning with exploration of complex topics or issues and leading to the questioning beyond the current and existing knowledge. This is followed by understanding and analyzing arguments through contextualizing arguments and evaluating authors' claims and lines of reasoning. After this is the evaluating multiple perspectives phase, in which both individually and in comparison with one another. This is then followed by the synthesizing ideas phase with others, which leads to new understandings and perspectives. Finally is the team transform and transmit phase, which encourages reflection on work. Throughout the quest process, students frequently revisit past steps and revise and adapt their previous work based on new findings.
So the role of the teacher in an AP capstone class is actually quite different from that of a regular class, because at the beginning of the year, yes, it could be regular class because our teacher, they help us build skills that are used upon on like later in the year on the performance tasks in AP seminar and the end of course exam. So what the teacher can do is they can guide you throughout the class. They can tell you that you have deadlines. They remind you of things to do. But what they can't do is that they can't give you new ideas. They can't give you feedback on your essays. But yeah, it's a very hands-off job for the teacher at the end of the year, and it's a different approach than of a normal class. So the student learns to work independently and among their peers rather than always be led by a teacher. So now time for an overview of AP Seminar, which is the class I'm taking right now. So in AP Seminar, you can engage in cross-curricular conversations, as my friend Jackson said. You can learn to evaluate different perspectives in real-world problems through different lenses and perspectives. You can practice reading through analyzing articles, studies, and other texts through a variety of lenses. And you can gather and synthesize information from multiple perspectives, as well as crafting evidence-based arguments. Also, the performance tasks that you take at the back half of the year is what you were graded upon. So some of the skills and proficiencies that AP Seminar helps you build are listed up there on that chart. And throughout the year in this course, the first half, so about September to December, you'll be building on the skills required for the back half of this class, which is as listed over there, the performance tasks and the end of course exam.
So let's talk a little bit about the performance tasks. So the first one is a team task that we do, and this is the first portion of the AP test. And unlike other courses, the AP capstones, you're starting the AP test much earlier in the year. So this, the PT1, or Performance Task 1, is started in late January. And it's composed of an individual research report, which is a 1,200 word maximum report, which integrates a topic which your team decides upon through different lens, like the economic sides, political sides, or historical side, and each student picks a different lens to look at the topic through, and they put the sources that they find on that certain certain topic into conversation with each other, and what experts from that field think about that topic. And then they use those IRRs to create a TMP or team multimedia presentation, and also they use it for the oral defense, which comes after that. And this is a 8 to 10 minute presentation that combines each of the IRRs into one presentation that ultimately proposes and defends a solution or stance on a common issue or a specific issue in society. And then after that, there's an oral defense portion of that as well, which questions students on the ways that they conducted research and how they put their presentation together. And here are some pictures from AP Seminar of the presentations that we did for our PT1.
So after that comes the PT2, the Performance Task 2, which is overall very similar to the PT1. However, there are a few key differences. First, it is individual. There's no teams here. It's all on your own. And second, before students can begin their research, the College Board will send out a few stimulus sources. These are like short, curated sources that the College Board picks out and sends to all the AP Seminar students. And these students will use them in order to make connections and from there form their research. So we can see here some examples, like those photos down there, of those lost places, and we can see in the middle right, we can see a fact sheet about Alzheimer's, and you can see our notes about how to make these connections too. So after that comes the IWA, the individual written argument, and this is capped at 2,000 words. And this is kind of similar to the IRR, but it is more argumentative. Students write papers on what they found from the research. And there are a few steps to this. First, they have to make those connections between sources, then do some research, and then use what they found to fully develop their argument. And after that comes the IMP, the individual multimedia presentation. Now, this is almost like the IWA, but instead of a paper, it is transformed into a live presentation. And there are many steps to this too. You first have to develop your claim, you have to put some context to your research, and you do some more stuff, like you have to address objections, and at the very end, you answer some oral defense questions about your research process and methods. And that caps off the PT2.
After the PT2, you have the end of course exam, and the end of the course exam, or the EOC, is in two different parts. You have the EOC-A and the EOC-B. So in the EOC-A, some of the skills assessed are you have to understand it. It's back a slide. Jackson.
Oh, sorry.
Back. So.
It's all right.
Some of the skills assessed in the EOC-A is you have to understand and analyze the argument, and you have to evaluate the sources and evidence. And for EOC-B, you have to establish an argument and select and use evidence. Now, the EOC-A and the...
I swear I'm not clean.
The EOC-A, and this is the prompt to the right, and the first question asks to identify the author's main claim, thesis, or a claim. And the second question is asking to explain the line of reasoning. So what you have to do is you have to get a couple pieces of evidence and show how they connect to explain like what the author is trying to explain. And the third question asks to evaluate the sources and evidence. So you know that the author isn't just grabbing the stuff off of Google and that the sources are actually credible. And for the EOC-B prompt, so some of the skills assessed by the EOC-B is you have to identify the theme or issue after reading the 4 sources and identify a central theme or connection that connects those issues. And you have to analyze the perspectives. So you have to evaluate the different viewpoints represented in the sources Each source will offer a distinct perspective on a theme or issue. And you have to develop your argument. So you formulate your own perspective on the theme or issue you identified, and your argument should be logically organized. So you have to present your ideas in a clear, structured manner, and you have to use evidence. So you have to integrate at least 2 of the sources into your argument, and you can also refer to knowledge that you have beforehand.
All right, so I'm here to talk about an overview of the AP Research course. So the AP Research course requires students to explore a topic and have basically in-depth year-long investigation into that topic. Now, we use skills that we developed in AP seminars, such as establishing an argument and engaging the audience through, media and other presentation tactics. Now, we also implement skills that we learned in AP Research, such as research design and implementing ethics into research as well. Now, with all these skills, we implement them into the performance tasks. And you might be wondering, what are the performance tasks? So, there we go. Unlike conventional AP exams, AP Research actually pushes students into the AP exam at the beginning of the year. We're put into the deep end as soon as the year begins. And it's a year-long exam because we're working on the AP Research paper and the AP Research presentation, which Sarah and Elizabeth will talk more about.
Okay, so the first performance task is the academic paper, which is worth 75% of the score of the grade. And it's basically a culmination of everything that we've done all year. So it's a 4,000 to 5,000 word paper where you basically become an expert in your field, an expert on your topic, and you address the scholarly conversation by addressing the gap of what is not known in the research. So it's not just like an AP seminar when you're researching and reporting on what has already been found by experts in previous years. You're really conducting your own study, you're creating something new, and you're finding out something that has never been known about the topic. And within the paper, we talk about limitations, implications, and grounds for future research, what we can do to add to our personal topics, these studies in the future as well.
The second portion of the exam is the presentation and oral defense, which is worth 25% of the overall grade. It's typically 15 to 20 minutes, and students present their research process as well as their findings in it. After this, they defend their work by answering 3 to 4 questions from a panel of 3 to 4 teachers.
So to go about completing this research paper and also the presentation, there's a specific research process that we followed. And that began by identifying a gap in the knowledge, in the body of knowledge, and creating a research question based on that gap in knowledge. And the way we found the gap was actually by doing a lot of pre-research before we actually conducted our own research. And that involved reading roughly 30 to 50 sources and creating annotated bibliographies for all of them. And then based on that, we identified a gap in knowledge that we could solve on our own. And then we created a research question that would then be able to answer that, to fill in that gap in knowledge. And here are some of the research questions that our classmates created.
What are the lived experiences of stay-at-home mothers with 2 or more children?
How does sleep duration affect VO2 max of female high school age varsity cross-country athletes located at sea level in the United States?
What are new drivers' lived experience of driving in a northeastern town where an NFL stadium is located?
What is the shared experience of upperclassmen in college who took a gap year prior to their freshman year of college?
How effective are different concentrations of citric plant biomass-derived carbon photocatalysts in degrading bisphenol A under different UV light intensity?
How does variation in color saturation impact high school students' ability to recall information presented in short educational videos?
How do female basketball players perceive the impact of fan attendance at their high school games on their mental health in Massachusetts?
What are post-COVID adolescent perceptions of telehealth services?
Investigating the lived experiences of students in AP science classes who've experienced the hybrid grading system.
All right, so as you just saw, we had a wide variety of questions. Some of them were more quantitative, whereas others were more qualitative. And based on that, we had to choose a method. Some people chose phenomenology because they wanted to identify a phenomenon within a group of people, whereas others chose more quantitative approaches, such as me, who used the experimental design approach. And then based on that method, we had to start collecting data using that method. And again, for some people, this looked different. the quantitative people used more hard numbers because that's what they needed to answer their question, whereas qualitative people tended to use, for phenomenology, they used interviews, which would then be turned into transcripts, and they would use those transcripts and identify themes within them, and that would be their data. And then to analyze this data, the quantitative people would tend to use Excel and perform a different statistical test. I personally use a t-test. And then based on that, you can identify significance levels and see if your data supports or refutes your initial hypothesis that you made when doing your literature review. And then you can end up drawing a conclusion that ends up answering your research question at the end of your paper and presentation. And here are some of the findings that our classmates got.
My primary findings were participants often felt nervous during complex driving and traffic conditions.
At the end of my study, I found that taking a gap year after high school prior to their freshman year at college helps the mental health, the academic performance, and the overall college experience of students, and it benefited them in a positive way.
My findings were that when female basketball players knew that fans were going to attend a game, they got nervous. However, having fan support in favor of them was more beneficial than having fans against them and contradicted the bad. With that being said, having fans act negatively towards them severely hurt their mental health.
Okay.
So the pictures are all popping up, but these are all pictures of the AP Research students on the day of our POD, our presentation. And the POD is, telling the story of your study, the research process, what you did throughout the entire year, basically what's in your paper, but a story, telling the story of it through a visual aid. And we presented this in front of our classmates and a panel of 3 to 4 teachers, including Dr. Waz, who is our AP Research teacher.
All right, so now we're going to look into why AP Capstone is important and what benefits that we can get by taking the course.
Well, there's many benefits. There's many great things about it. But first things first, it shows us how to do things. It teaches us how to handle the problems that we're given, how to write, how to argue, and all of that, instead of just what to do like most classes. It makes us confident that we are able to handle these challenges that will be given in these that'll be given in the future in these new classes that we'll be taking. Because it shows us what to do in those situations. But it's also valuable because it will fulfill the senior English course requirement that we have to do in the high school. But with that, it also gives us these valuable skills that translate to other classes.
And then the benefits of taking AP Research, there are many, but one of them is that it encourages curiosity for future research. Like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the topic and the academic paper, it can really, you can ask more questions when just because you answered your research question doesn't mean that there isn't so much more to be done with every single topic. Every single topic has so much ground to cover, and it can be so useful and can help people in the world. That's why we all chose our topics, because we're all passionate about them. And then another benefit is that there is a valuable research experience. We learn and adapt many research skills that are vital to not only our success in this class, but also that we can use in our other courses here at FHS, which some of our students will also talk about a little bit later on. And then another benefit is the AP Capstone Diploma, which Suraj is going to get into on the next slide.
All right, so there's a few different benefits that are tangible from taking the AP Capstone course. This comes in the form of both the diploma or the AP Research and Seminar certificate. So if you were to take AP Seminar and AP Research and get a 3 or higher on both of those, you get the AP Seminar and Research certificate. However, if you add on to that and then take 4 other AP exams and get a 3 or higher on those, you get the AP Capstone Diploma. Additionally, this certificate or the diploma can be used on your college application to enhance the application for the colleges. For example, all of us research students, we all added that we were an AP capstone candidate on our college applications. Finally, there is also chords that we receive for taking both AP Research and AP Seminar, regardless of our score. Next, we are going into the AP Capstone Student Reflections, where we will discuss what we learned and how we grew from taking these courses. I originally thought that research was mostly just analyzing, but it can expand
A little technical difficulty.
From what I knew about that, and then I realized that there was actually the gap aspect to that, and I didn't realize how important
I can't quite see, but are those
reading and conducting my own study would be to my own personal growth.
Do you want to give us a little,
Yeah, sure.
a quick little, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so if
okay.
you want to, that's fine.
I'm over there. So at first, I was really connecting. At the beginning of class, I was really connecting AP Seminar to AP Research. I thought, honestly, that it was just the continuation of researching existing knowledge, what experts have already found. I really didn't realize until, early on in the class that there was that gap aspect of it, and that we really were creating something to find what is not known to, help others possibly in the future.
All right, so I'm in the middle there. So what I originally thought was research when I first came into the course was that, you look at graphs and numbers and see what relationships there are. But I figured out that you can also investigate qualitative information, like taking words from transcripts and finding themes and displaying those as a form of research.
The thing that I've learned throughout the course was that reflecting throughout the process was really useful. For example, in mine, I had to make a lot of adjustments, so reflecting throughout my research process was really helpful in making those adjustments.
Thank you, Emma.
So adding on to that, beginning in seminar, we gained experience with creating bibliographies and analyzing the credibility of a variety of different sources, which largely help in other classes as well. For me in particular, I felt that these skills helped in AP Lang and AP US History. Also, since it's the first really independent kind of driven class that I've taken, I felt that it helped me to stay organized in a variety of other classes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more to add on. So by taking AP Seminar, you're really set up well for success for AP Research. For example, the IRR is basically just a carbon copy of a literature review, just a little bit longer for the literature review itself. And then also the skills you learn in both these classes, like she just said, are very applicable to other classes. For instance, I know that I use my AP Seminar skills to be able to better analyze prompts and text for AP Lang, and that then helped me get a better score on that AP exam.
Yeah, so reflecting on my year here at AP Seminar, I agree with everything Lucas said, yes. So honestly, at the beginning of the year, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but as I moved on throughout the year, I used these skills of evaluating the credibility of evidence and sources, and this class truly is curricular, because I use these classes in several other classes, like English. When I'm writing and synthesizing an essay, I use skills from AP Seminar to really help build that.
It's fantastic.
One thing that really sets AP Seminar apart from the other classes at the high school and the AP Capstone in general is, I'd say, the emphasis on collaboration. And because Dr. Waz can't help us in the second half of the year as much, we have to rely more on our peers. And also we are doing a team presentation with our peers too. So we're really building those skills that can help us in the workplace of working professionally with others, relying on others, and allowing us to build those very transferable skills to the workplace. And that's very different from a math class where it's just everyone's competing. Not always competing, but they're almost on your own in math class, where no one else is relying on you. But in AP Seminar, everyone in your group is relying on you. So it's really a different relationship that you build. And I've really built some great relationships taking this course, so I'm really happy that I did. And I had some really lasting friendships, so.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for inviting us and for taking the time to really understand more about the AP Capstone courses and to really, dive into the experience with us and what we all learned throughout the year. And I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Waz, who added all of our names to the screen. And she told us earlier that she was trying to make us look like stars in the sky. And it could also be like everyone standing at a concert and they're watching us perform. So I just want to give a shout out to her for that.
Well, I have a quick reflection, if that's okay with you guys. And just, first of all, you guys are all so very impressive. But when you came here, it said on the agenda, like that Dr. Waz was doing the presentation for AP Capstone. But you guys just did such a wonderful job. And you showed how much you did not need a teacher. You came up here, you independently ran the presentation and nailed it. So great job. To all of you, and thank you for all of you in the audience and the parents. Clearly, it's a collaboration. It's like so evident. And my second is a question. Did Jackson make you all do push-ups? He presented 2 weeks ago with his robotics teams, and they all did push-ups, so I didn't know. It's just... I'm kidding. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yep, Dr.
I can't help but looking out at the audience and who we have here with our faculty and staff from preschool all the way up to grade 12. So you must be so proud and listening to these students and what they've accomplished. It really is extraordinary, the skills that you've coming out of it, but being able to transfer those skills into everything when you go on to your next phase. As we know, this is our last week for our seniors, but as you're going to look back at this experience and realize what a gift it was, the hard work, but it's going to pay off in dividends going forward for you. And I know that the people sitting behind you are just like, wow, like all the work from preschool all the way up, and it culminates to this. So
And
impressive.
in front, too. For sure, you guys did great. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Just
you.
honestly, thanks for taking the time to do this. A+, all of you.
And to Dr. Waz.
We say it every meeting, but it truly is our favorite part as the teaching and learning highlight. As so great and timely as the seniors are in the last week, too.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go right to our superintendent update.
All right, well, speaking of seniors, we know that this is Senior Spirit Week, and marking the last week, we'll have the parade on Friday, and so we'll thank the Foxborough Police as far as public safety in advance. I know an important communication will be going out regarding that, so we have everyone that's safe to be able to have that as the culmination of the week. So lots to look forward to, lots of events. We don't have our student representatives here this evening, but I know that they were speaking to many of the things that are on the calendar, so please check the calendar because you don't want to miss what's going on. We have concerts taking place this evening. There's lots of things that are taking place. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to see our literacy morning over at the Burrell. I know at Taylor, our elementary literacy taking place. Those are with our kindergarten parents that came in, and what a full house that we had. And so talking about shout outs to Karen McKinnon and our literacy specialist for that. It's a wonderful opportunity for parents to hear directly from their kindergartners. It's amazing to see how much they've grown over the course of the year with their buckets and their sharing their writing, and then also great resources for parents to go to the BIT literacy page and to see some different things that you can easily do at home to really prevent that summer slide. So a lot of effort goes into putting those resources there for our families, so leverage those, and our kindergarten students they're adorable and amazing, and it was awesome. So. Teacher Appreciation, Staff Appreciation Week that's been taking place has been fantastic. I know how much it's appreciated, and it's continuing into this week with the Burrell School. So it's been a great month of celebration and appreciation. We've got MCAS that's taking place. As I just mentioned, concerts are taking place, grade 6, art shows as well. Sports is wrapping up with this being the final week of the regular season. The majority of our teams are moving on to playoffs, so we wish them well. Look at the calendar, see what games or meets that you can still catch. And the things that are coming up on Tuesday, so we have Memorial Day holiday, And as always, really just want to take a moment to extend our gratitude for our military families and our military personnel, and really within our whole community, and support for Memorial Day to make sure to think about really their courage and their commitment and the support that we have thanks to them, which is deeply appreciated. Following that holiday on Monday, we have Special Olympics Field Day that's going to be taking place, which is really exciting, and that'll be taking place at the high school. We will have, this is our second annual Special Olympics Field Day. So you might remember that Foxborough Public Schools has already been recognized as a unified championship school district by Special Olympics. So this is awesome to be able to have that recognition and to be able to carry that forward. Norton Public Schools will be joining us on Monday for that. We have a lot of people that have put a lot of time and effort, and our students and our athletes. It's an all-day, pretty much all-day event. So we want to cheer on our athletes and all of those that are supporting them. So lots to look at. Check the calendar. Don't miss, whether it's art shows or concerts or athletic events. Lots to take in as we start to get towards the school year that seems to be coming up pretty quickly.
Eek. For sure. May-cember. There's a lot going on, for sure. Anything else? That was a mouthful.
Yes.
Lots going on.
Lots going on.
So we're going to segue to the next thing in our agenda, which is the Massachusetts Association of School Committee, or the MASC, Day on the Hill. Nathan, myself, and Michelle had the privilege to go to the Day on the Hill at the State House, and I think we had submitted a few pictures to share up. I love the positive group share. Dr. Waz, I love the selfie with you and that. So we did, Dr. Burrows actually came as well, Stevie Strahan, who, just to make an announcement, I did receive a text. Yasmin is under the weather and Stevie was not able to make it tonight. But Stevie Strahan was there representing. So it was a really proud day, and our state rep, Michael Chason, was there with us. We got to meet with him, talk about some initiatives. So I did provide all the materials from the Day on the Hill that we collected, and I put that in with the packet so that the public at large could kind of see what was going on and get an idea. But, if you guys want to add anything in, I don't know if we got the pictures in time. Did we get the slides? Oh, no, sorry. We didn't get the slides in time. But anyway, Michelle, do you have anything you want to add?
No, so this was my second day on the Hill. I just found it just very inspirational, to know that we have our representatives and that they care so deeply about the schools and how much they want to help. This year was a little different. This one, I feel like every meeting we've gone to this year has been a little bit more doom and gloom because of the political climate. But it is very uplifting to know that no matter what, we have them in our corner. They are fighting for us, and They are fighting for the schools and education, and that is our top priority in Massachusetts. We're at the top, and we want to remain there.
Oh, for sure. It was nice. It was a nice, consistent theme throughout the day from our lawmakers, from fellow educators, students, just from everywhere, all over Massachusetts. It was great. Neat.
Sure. So it was my first year attending, and I actually had a great time. It was great to hear from other school committee members, educators, students, legislators. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone is understanding what's happening, and it's kind of great to see that other people are in the same spot. They understand what's happening in each district, and we have a lot in common. And I think it was just great to kind of feel reassured that we have the support from our legislators and they have our backs.
For sure. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the culinary, it was like this crazy buffet. Every trade school came and they all made their signature dish, and it was so nice in the Hall of Flags at the State House, and they did such an amazing job. And they were all, not only was the food delicious, everybody was serving and being so kind, and so it was just so nice. It was a nice representation for the day, just start to finish. It's always a fun day, but just really and really proud that Stevie took her day and came with us and represented. So So hopefully, if anyone's able to make it, next year, it's definitely a great day to go and enjoy and engage. So definitely point of pride. So anyone have anything else they want to add? Stephanie? No.
I mean, I would just say that it was wonderful to have so many of you there. I appreciated Stevie being there as well. And as you all said, we're very fortunate to be in Massachusetts, where our legislators care deeply about investing in public education. So I think that was the message of the day. For sure. We certainly have the support. We're just, trying to advocate for what our schools need. And, there's some changing landscapes in education. There's rising special education costs. And I think that our legislators really heard us and are listening, and they want to help. So it was just a wonderful day and really great to be there with members of the school committee and know that we have that unified effort and support from you all. So thank you for going. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you coming too. I did just put the picture up here. I think that they can maybe zoom in. I think we did a little test earlier, but if Paul wants to zoom in, I did put the picture up so we can maybe share it. But we had a good day, a lot of smiles. A lot of positivity. So there it is. All of us together, right? Making change, trying to do what we could, right? To appreciate and celebrate Foxborough. That having students there. Last time Michelle and I went, we had such a great day. We had smiles like we're driving home, like in gridlock traffic, but we just couldn't stop smiling. And we kept saying to each other, I wish we had a student. I wish we had a student. So we finally got a student there. So it was a fantastic day. So thanks for letting us talk about it. And we'll move on. We're not going to be able to have a student update because our students are not with us today. So we're just going to move directly onto the math curriculum review. And as we introduce our math curriculum educators as they come up, I just want you to know the theme of today is smiles. Because Noelle Henriksen, she walked in and you see this big smile. She's always so happy to be here and present and share. Thank you for your passion and your enthusiasm. I always feel it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And from your team, too.
So I am going to kick it off and just talk through what's in everything. Do you want to introduce yourselves first?
Sure. I'm Tim Johansmeyer. I'm the math department head at the high school.
I'm Noelle Hendrickson. I'm the K-8 Math Science Curriculum Director.
And I'm Jennifer Powers, math specialist at Taylor School, representing all our math specialists.
Okay, so in your packet, you have a memo. You have a curriculum review report that is very long, complete with an appendix. And you also have a copy of tonight's presentation. As you know, our curriculum review process, for those of you that are new to the committee as well, it's a 6-year curriculum review cycle. So the last moment that our math department K-12 was up for a curriculum review was 2018, 2019. So this is the first time in 6 years that we've had that year-long process to really look at our data and analyze what are we doing well and where do we need to improve. What you have in front of you, in that memo, summarizes the process for you and also names what we'll be voting on this evening. So if you take a look at the table that's at the bottom of your memo, it identifies some purchases that we're going to be making across K-12. Those purchases, that's in totality over the course of the next 6 years. That is the cost of our program review recommendations at this moment. So we'll be asking for a school committee's vote at the end of tonight's presentation on those items, on adopting those items. And we can get started with the presentation.
Oh, we just got a 1 second from the booth back there. Little technical trickiness. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. So we had a really big team for the K-12 curriculum review, as you can see. We had teachers, we had classroom teachers, special educators. We had Noelle and Tim chaired that committee. We also had some principals, assistant principals, really made sure that we had great representation. I do want to mention that this is a really long year. We look at a lot of research. We spend a lot of time. We visit classrooms. We look at data. We survey. We develop so many things and spend so much time as a curriculum review team throughout the school year. So I really, before I hand it off to you all, want to thank this committee. It's so important that we have folks volunteer for a curriculum review and volunteer to spend that time and really dig into it. And we had some committed staff members really dig into the review this year. We also are very fortunate. We have an excellent mathematics program here in Foxborough. It is a point of pride for the district for sure, and that is a testament to the leadership that we have at this table right here. And also, there's a lot of passion about math teaching and learning here in Foxborough. So it was a happy review and also an opportunity to really dig in and identify where can we improve, what can we do to improve student outcomes. So our process is, it's pretty well structured. I think we kick the year off with an equity assessment. That equity assessment looks across 4 different categories and really has the curriculum review team digging in, asking open-ended questions. Do all students have access to advanced coursework? Do all students have the same opportunity to access grade level curriculum? So those types of questions we ask of our curriculum review team. And we have a rating system that helps us identify where are our strengths for the K-12 mathematics program, and then where are our opportunities for growth. So that whole process is really driven by that equity assessment that we start at the beginning of the year, and from there we develop goals for our review. We take the time to really celebrate what those strengths are, and we tried to highlight those in the report for you. And then, from those identified areas of growth, we're identifying some goals and some focal areas for the review. So as you can see at the elementary level, we really focused on differentiation, opportunities for intervention and enrichment, and focused our time on identifying resources that would support that. At the middle school level, we focused on curriculum resources, and open up access to advanced coursework. And they're going to get to those details in the presentation this evening. And finally, at the high school, focused on some common assessment resources, as well as improving that access to advanced coursework. So really a comprehensive year-long process. Going to hand it over to the team, and they're going to walk you through the details.
Okay, so we're going to start with elementary mathematics, and I don't want to go quickly over this slide. I want you to just take a moment, because these are the happy, energetic, excited young mathematicians that we have in Foxborough. And the reason that they're happy and excited and energized is because our teachers in elementary love teaching math. They love it. And they teach all subjects in elementary K to 4. But if you ask them, they love to teach math. And I think that really makes us stand out as a district, because our teachers, I'm going to say it for the 4th time, love to teach math. You should come to a math meeting when the teachers are there. It's spirited, it's energetic, they're doing math, there's some healthy competition. They love it, and it shows in those pictures. So I just want to point that out. We interviewed and surveyed our teachers because we wanted to get feedback from them on what makes math successful here in Foxborough and what are the areas that we can improve. The elementary math program in Foxborough has been recognized for its emphasis on differentiation, small group instruction, and primarily the workshop model. We're so proud of that work. And the teachers that we surveyed, we asked them, what is the strength of this current math model that we have going on? So I just want to share some of those with you. Somebody said the organization of the website is really helpful. It's also great how many resources there are so we can pick and choose based on what our students need. I also appreciate how responsive the math specialists are to our feedback. They're quick to update the website if we share info about what else we need. Someone else said, I feel fully supported by the current math model, curriculum, and staff. Someone else shared, a strength for me is the collaboration and communication with math specialists and our curriculum director. Our voices are heard and our grade level meetings are productive. And someone else said, the math specialists, our current curriculum, and our tools are truly amazing. I feel so supported within the classroom for math teaching, as well as have the resources at my fingertips when I need them. And then lastly, someone shared, I feel that we have a strong math model and curriculum, and it continues to improve each year. So some of the strengths for teachers were the workshop model. They're very well-oiled with their workshop model. They love being able to have that freedom to teach in that capacity, to be able to pull small groups and differentiate in the way that they do. They also gave feedback about how appreciative they are to have the content knowledge of the math specialists, one per building. I can't underscore that enough. The team is incredible, as you can see. The organization of the resources on our website. And lastly, what I think makes Foxborough stand out is our use of math tools in the classroom. You'll always see students touching things, whether it's a beaded number line, whether it's fraction towers, whether it's a coordinate grid with rubber bands on them. There's kids that are touching math all the time, and that's a really big part of our elementary math program. And then we also wanted to hear from the mouths of babes, what makes third and fourth graders, how do they feel about math? Because that's really important. I'm going to kick it over to Jen Powers to talk a little bit.
Thanks. I was really happy to be part of the whole team this year looking at the curriculum review. But I speak today not only on behalf of the current K-8 math team, but also in recognition of the prior math specialists and curriculum leaders who have built and strengthened this team over the past decade. Together, we've partnered with teachers across all grade levels to foster a classroom culture where children see themselves as mathematicians, engaging in math meaningfully and seeing its relevance in the everyday world. Our implementation of the math workshop model has been a cornerstone of this success. This approach allows teachers to deliver focused, engaging mini lessons, and then work with students in small groups to ensuring that instruction is personalized and responsive to every learner's needs. The most powerful validation of this work comes directly from the mouths of our students. When third and fourth graders describe math with words like joy, happiness, and feeling successful, we know we are doing more than teaching content. We are shaping confident, curious problem solvers. Our K-8 math team believes we are preparing a generation of students who not only enjoy math, but who understand that with the right tools and the perseverance to apply them, they can tackle complex challenges. These are the foundational skills that will lead many of our students into future STEM careers. As educators, we understand the critical role that we play in setting students on this path early. We are proud of the progress we've made in K-8 mathematics, and we're committed to continuing this work with the same passion and purpose. And we thank you for your support.
So thank you. These were some of the responses when we asked students what they think when they hear the word math. What did they think about? So we pulled out some of those great phrases from the student survey. Okay, moving on. We also surveyed teachers and asked them about, we wanted to know about some of our subgroup data. We wanted to know if our curriculum was meeting the needs of specific subgroups. So general ed students, students that have identified disabilities, students who receive L support, and students who are in extension groups. And what we found was that we wanted to identify some interventions that we could help students meet grade level expectations, especially students with disabilities and students who receive L support. That was an area of growth for us. So we wanted to, what we found was that at the 3 elementary schools, our special educators were working tirelessly to create these sort of materials for these groups of students, but we weren't working in tandem as all 3. So what we thought was, looking at this, that we could identify a resource that all 3 schools could have so that we have a more consistent intervention program at the elementary level to meet the needs of all students. I'm going to transition to middle school now. And again, I just want you to take a look at those faces. Foxborough Middle School Math, the program has drawn attention from other districts, with teachers visiting us often to observe math workshop in action, especially at the middle school level. The math workshop approach empowers students with their choice, voice, and agency in learning, and fosters deep, deep engagement and ownership over that math learning. I think an area that really separates us, again, is the use of concrete tools at the middle school level. They're not as easy to find, but don't you worry, we always find them. But it's a big cornerstone and a proud feature of our middle school math program. These hands-on tools, they help to deepen conceptual understanding, and they really do support all learners. I tried to pick pictures up there that you could see those tools in action at the middle school level. We surveyed, again, our teachers, and we wanted to ask them what the strengths of the middle school math model is for them. Middle school teachers report that the strengths of the program, again, are workshop, the math specialist support, and the organization of our curriculum. So a teacher said, I love the flexibility of our model. We can accommodate to teach each learner while also embedding our own flair. I like that we're encouraged to try new things and to use our professional expertise. Someone else said, our math website is awesome, especially with all of our new resources. So grateful for our incredible math specialist and curriculum director. I love learning about new tools and games. We're always provided with new tools and resources. And finally, someone said, math workshop has been such a game changer in my classroom. I love the power of choice and how we allow students to pick what they want to do. This is such a great practice, and it promotes learning. Moving on, we also surveyed our 7th and 8th grade teachers, and we asked them to comment on their current core resource that they're using, and they overwhelmingly reported that they wanted to explore a new core resource. Not surprisingly, 6 years ago when we did our curriculum review in middle school, we really wanted to strengthen the math workshop model. So we sort of said we're going to put our core curriculum aside for just a minute, and we're going to focus on that pedagogical model. We've done that. And now it's time to look for a stronger, more updated, and more rigorous resource to support our 7th and 8th grade teachers and students. You can tell that they're ready for that too. Okay, now going back, sorry, we're sort of jumping back between elementary and middle, but for elementary school, the findings and the recommendations, the elementary math review at the elementary level, we received program pitches from several intervention programs that we were able to use demo access and try them out and test them out with students and teachers. And we were trying to look at which components did we think fit best with our model. We wanted to make the recommendation for McGraw-Hill's Number World and McGraw-Hill's ALEX Adventure. Number World is a research-based math intervention program for K-4. It combines hands-on learning, adaptive digital tools, and individual instruction to accelerate student progress to make gains. It would be used not for all students, but for the students in our certain groups that just need a little bit more. They would come to a small group in math workshop and work with a special educator or a math specialist on that. And then ALEX Adventure is an adaptive digital math practice that's personal. And so this would be for all students to do their adaptive online practice during math workshop, but the two speak to each other. So students receiving the intervention would be specifically getting targeted skills in ALEX Adventure, but ALEX Adventure also accelerates students beyond grade level 2. We have really tried to have a thoughtful rollout and timeline. We want to make sure teachers feel supported and that this makes a lot of sense for kids. So we have sort of a 3-year timeline where we're adopting, we're going to try to use professional development time in June before school gets out, summer, which will roll into summer work as well, and have fall as well to keep the teacher momentum going with these new products. We're starting small with special ed teachers and the math team, and then we're going to try to grow it out. So for middle school, We are recommending a new updated core resource for grades 7 and 8. We got many program pitches as well for this. We were looking for a program that had rich problem-solving tasks, that had alignment to our workshop model that fit in with that model, and had rigor and open-ended problem-solving tasks for deep thinking. And we were looking and looking. We want to recommend Reveal 2025, which was actually written for math workshop. There's whole group lessons that are mini lessons. There's small group targeted in practice. They even have workstations in there, which is what we call when what we name when students go off on their own. It encourages curiosity. It is very rigorous. We got to try it out a lot this spring. Teachers were thrilled with this recommendation at the 7th and 8th grade level. And so we're very proud. We're really excited about this. We already have a June half day with for PD for teachers, and like I said, summer work, and in the fall as well. We have tried to be very thoughtful as well about the rollout for this. We have 3 years where we're sort of adopting this new platform. We're also reorganizing some of the pathways for math at the middle school level all the way up to high school. If you want to take a look, if you are interested, this QR code will take you to the presentation that Tim and I did for families in April, where we talked about the research and the why behind some of these new pathways that were all rooted in access and equity and opening up the doors for more students as opposed to closing them at the end of 6th grade. So we really were thoughtful around reorganizing these pathways, which Tim will talk about in just a moment, but there's a whole presentation with research and like why we made these decisions. So that's there as well.
There's also the appendix at the end of your curriculum review report is an FAQ that actually helps answer some of those common questions for why we're making that change and what the reasoning behind that is and why it's important to ensure that all students have access to calculus. Go ahead.
And then shifting to the high school, just like in the lower levels, we already are finding that overall we're getting really strong outcomes. We've got great teachers, great special educators. The collaboration is really something that 10 years ago drew me to Foxborough as a district, and that is still, I think, one of our biggest strengths. But like always, we're still looking, how can we improve? That was really the goal of this whole year. And we settled on these basically 4 big buckets. We want an assessment resource to improve consistency and let us be more efficient when we need to intervene with students to meet their needs in real time. Improve access to more advanced courses through revisiting our pathways, which I'll get into in more detail. Improving our co-teaching model to better support all students, as well as improving our supports for our L and our SLIFE students. So I'm going to kind of walk through how did we get to each of these, how do we narrow it down to these 4 items, and what are our action steps that we plan to take. Did I break the clicker? Oh, I got to aim back there. Got it. So we surveyed teachers, we surveyed students. I've kind of picked out some of the highlights, really the key things that are informing these decisions that we're making coming out of this process. And the first was about assessment resources. So when teachers were asked how frequently they use computer-based assessments, 100% of respondents either said rarely or never. And then the second question kind of, I think, goes right along with that. 91% of the teachers felt that we don't have an efficient way of leveraging data via computer-based assessments, which is probably why people are rarely or never using them, because we don't have an efficient tool that we feel we can use. We looked at lots of different options, and Delta Math is really what we felt is going to best meet our needs. There's a whole list of the features there, and there's even more than what I've listed, but a lot of the key things that teachers said they wanted pre-made questions that are already aligned to our state standards, but they also want the flexibility to be able to edit questions, create their own. The program also has lots of instructional videos if students are practicing on their own, lots and lots and lots of stuff. And one other thing we really liked about this is that it's geared towards high school math. A lot of the publishers offer programs that are more like gamified and stuff like that. And that's been a little bit of a sticking point for us and our students, is that we wanted something that felt like a more mature platform, and this really is that. It's got content all the way up through AP Calculus BC, which is often difficult to find. And then in terms of student access, I'll kind of explain more of how we're changing the pathways. So this is our current progression, and you can see the red arrows are typical paths, and the blue is possible pathways that students can move from one level to the next, but it's not as common. One highlight on the left column there is our CPB level courses. The issue we have with those is it's really limiting students in the advanced courses that they're able to take as they get further into their time at Foxborough High School. The students in the Algebra 2B class, the reality is that all of them end up taking intro statistics, which is not a bad thing. I say all the time, I love statistics, but all of the students deserve to have a real choice of what they want to take. And realistically, we just don't have any students coming out of the Algebra 2B course going into the CP Calculus course, for instance. So we really want to offer that choice and that opportunity for all students. And additionally, if students aren't identified to be in that Math 7-8 combined class up in the top right area, they miss out on an opportunity to take AP Calculus BC. And the decision to be in that class, it's based on a variety of factors, but one thing is their 5th grade MCAS scores, and we just feel like it seems silly to have your 5th grade MCAS scores determine what math class you could potentially take when you're a 12th grader. So one of the things we want to look at with that, and if students miss out on being in that Math 7-8 group, there isn't really a lot of other access points. We've tried other things here and there in some cases, but haven't really found something that we felt worked really well for us. And that students who are in the Math 7-8 class, when they become 8th graders, they're coming to the high school to take Algebra 1 honors. And it's great that we can provide that opportunity, but we've only really been able to provide it for like about 25 students a year just because of the logistics. So some students, maybe they really want to be in that group, they have the ability, but logistically we just have to cut it off somewhere, which is really a problem that we want to solve as well. Additionally, when teachers were asked how difficult it is for students to move from one level to another, yes, it's possible, but you'll see most of the teachers rated us kind of like in the middle, like, yeah, it's possible, but maybe not. Really only one respondent said it was a 3 being on the easier side. So we want to figure out, okay, how can we allow students more movement throughout the courses and more choice? Yeah. So this is our proposed course progression, which you saw a little bit earlier. And I'll start up at the top. And one difference you'll see, the Math 7-8 class no longer exists. All 6th grade students will then go to 7th grade and just take Math 7. And then there will be a choice for students whether they are just going to take Math 8 or a teacher might recommend or students might choose to take the Math 8 honors level, which really is going to incorporate all the Algebra 1 standards. And it sounds intimidating, but there's so much overlap between the 8th grade standards and the Algebra 1 standards. So those students who really are looking for that advanced opportunity, it is definitely going to be doable for them. Another thing is that in 7th grade, we're looking to offer some sort of enrichment options for students who do feel like they need a little bit more of a challenge because that Math 7-8 course combined is going to be going away.
We're going to create that course, and I really think we should call it Logic Lab. Something like really fun. I don't know, but like something where kids who love math have an opportunity for like a second math class that day, but it's all focused on like logic puzzles and fun open-ended tasks so that kids are up and they're working together and there's no criteria, because if you love math, you're in. So that was kind of just another thing that we thought would be really fun, and we're going to create that course over the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's still like it's pretty early on to then start leveling students, but even just that 1 year, students are more mature. They've figured out what are their interests. Do they really want to be taking BC Calculus when they get to 12th grade, or maybe their interests have shifted somewhere else? All the research says the longer you can delay leveling students, the better outcomes you're getting for all students. So even just that 1 year, we think is going to get us some good benefits there. And coming out of that Math 8 honors class, we'll have some form of summative assessment on the Algebra 1 standards. If students pass those, then when they get to the high school as 9th graders, they could go right into the honors geometry class and then basically follow the same accelerated pathway that we currently have. And then if, for whatever reason, students feel like they want more foundation in that Algebra 1, they could just take Algebra 1 as 9th graders and then continue and still get to AP Calculus by the time they're seniors. And Algebra 1 is just referred to as like the gateway class. The more success you have in Algebra 1, there's less chance that you'll need remedial classes later on in high school or in college. You end up with higher socioeconomic status, and just gives you more opportunity to take advanced courses, both in math and in science. There's a lot of crossover there as well. And then on the left side, you'll notice that the B-level courses would no longer exist. And really, one of the main goals for that is to allow true choice for students. They can access calculus or statistics their senior year. They're not really forced in one direction or the other. And we also think that by not having so many levels, it's going to be a little bit easier for students to move from CP to honors rather than there being 3 columns, and it's really hard to move all the way across. There's just less distance to travel in between courses, essentially. And then another thing that came out was that we want to focus more on our co-teaching practices and how we can improve there. When asked about how effective our current co-teaching models were, all the teachers responded with either 2s or 3s, so kind of in the middle. Definitely teachers want more. They want to improve. There was an open-ended question about what particular professional development opportunities would you like, and so many of the responses were about co-teaching and stuff like that. So from there, that's really going to be one of the big focuses of our professional development over the next few years, is focus on co-teaching, differentiation, all that sort of stuff. And that'll tie in as well with phasing out the B-level courses. There's going to be even more of a need for that, so that's going to be one of our big focuses. And then finally, supporting all students. When teachers were asked, well, they're asked about a variety of student subgroups, but these 2 really stuck out to us. The students with limited or interrupted formal education, they're the ones we refer to as the SLIFE students, or the English learners, the L students. You can see overwhelmingly 1s and 2s either were not at all satisfied or barely satisfied with what we're doing. So those really jumped out as a need for us. And part of the reason why is that Algebra 1 is the lowest level course that we offer, and for some of these students, they're just, for a variety of reasons, oftentimes nothing really up to them, they just aren't algebra ready quite yet. So we wanted to explore new resources and new supports that we could offer, and we found this product. It's called Transition to Algebra, and you can see the units there, but it really takes a different approach to introducing students to algebra. Algebra is where things start to get a little bit more abstract. So it uses logic puzzles, problems, explorations, to kind of present things differently to students. If anyone wants to look up Transition Algebra, you'll see they've got tons of examples of like the logic puzzles and stuff like that. And really, the students are doing algebra, but they just don't see it that way because there's no numbers all the time, essentially, is that. So offering the support to students who need it, I think is really going to help us fix that problem. It's not a huge group of students, but it's definitely a group of students that currently we're not supporting adequately, and is something that we want to focus on. And our timeline for this, so phasing out the B-level courses, we're going to start with geometry next year, and then the following year, it'll be both of the Algebra 1 and 2 classes. So the students who are going to be in Geometry CP next year, they'll just go to Algebra 2 CP. And then 2 years from now, the incoming 9th graders will just come into Algebra 1 CP. There'll no longer be any B-level courses at 2 years from now. We thought about doing phasing out 1 year at a time. That felt like it was going to take too long. We considered phasing them out all at once, and there was just a big concern of we need a little bit more time to prepare adequately for this transition in order to get the outcomes that we want. We don't want to set up the students for failure, so that's our strategy behind that. we're going to introduce our Delta Math license and have professional development around that. That'll give our teachers access to real-time data to help intervene with students and whatnot. Like right now, the only hard data we have is that we often look at is the MCAS data, which is, by the time we see it, it's from the year prior, and it's not real time. So the Delta Math subscription and license is going to help us with that, introducing the transition to algebra support for students. And next year is going to be the last time Algebra 1 honors for 8th graders is taught at the high school. We're going to be working with the middle school teachers, specifically the 8th grade teachers, on how that's going to transition to being housed at the middle school. So 2 years from now, those 8th graders will be taking that Algebra 1, Math 8 honors with Algebra 1 is what we've called it. They're going to be taking that at the middle school, which again, we no longer have to cut it off at 25 kids. Any student who is ready for it can do it, which again, just the more access we can provide, the better. And then throughout the next few years, again, focus our professional development on co-teaching, differentiating, and just constantly looking at what's working, what's not working, tweaking as needed, and going from there.
Would you like me to take this one?
Do you mind?
Sure.
Burrows?
Not
Thank
at all.
you.
Congratulations to Tim for picking the most cost-effective he can. We did.
We can accept the difference if you guys want.
So one of the things that we've tried to do in our curriculum review reports, as well as in this presentation to you all each year, is identify exactly where are those funds coming from and where are we intending on spending those funds. So Tim can roll in the Delta Math and the transition to algebra expense into his departmental budget. And the benefit of that is that allows us to purchase out of our curriculum review funds line these additional resources at the elementary and at the middle school level. So again, even though this is an every 6-year process, at the elementary level, we've actually not purchased. We have, there are 2 other math specialists in the audience in addition to Ms. Powers that is up at the table here. And just to give them a little bit of a shout out, these specialists are developing locally curated curriculum for all of our K-4 elementary schools. So to have the performance, the student outcomes that we have, really on the shoulders of these 3 specialists developing that curriculum, building out that website. It really is amazing what they do, and they do a phenomenal job. To have the program that we have without the support of an external curriculum resource is amazing. It's not an outcome that is common in any other district. It really is amazing what we do here. But that being said, we've not ever bought a curriculum resource, and getting that support, getting that intervention resource at the elementary level, getting that personalized learning, that Alex Adventure is kind of an AI tool that will allow for some more differentiation, because as amazing as they are, they cannot differentiate for every single kid at the elementary level, at the level that we really need to make sure that all of our kids have that access and opportunity.
I was just going to add to the Number Worlds as an intervention program also shows how invested our special educators are in math. When I first got here 8 years ago, it wasn't like this. They weren't co-teaching to the level that they are now. They're so invested in the math model that they want more materials to help their students, and we want to give them those materials. And it just really does speak to how invested our special educators are in the math as well. And they have come so far in the sense that they're of being included in all of the professional development and things like that. There were a ton of special educators on this committee, which is so exciting too. So I just wanted to say that.
And if you caught what Noelle had shared earlier, in the last curriculum review cycle in the 18-19 school year, the mathematics program at the middle school really focused on the workshop model and did not upgrade their resource. So as a result, what we have currently is actually, it's aligned to the old curriculum frameworks. The mathematics curriculum frameworks changed in 2017. In the product that we've been using, actually predates that update to the curriculum framework. So it is very much so a needed purchase and a needed expense.
There was a question about an MP3 player on in the book, and the students were saying, "What in the world is this?" So yeah, it's time, I think, right? Like,
yes,
it needs. Yes. When I say current, I just mean like 2025. Yeah, we're ready.
And any questions that you all have for us?
First of all, thank you for your thoroughness, as always, and the positive energy is like palpable, honestly. Thank you. That excitement, I know, extends to the classroom. I know that for a fact. My daughter, as you're sitting here, sent me a text. I saw on my watch. He's my favorite teacher, and she takes AP Stats. This was her favorite class this year, and you're her favorite teacher.
And there isn't even anything left for me to grade.
Right?
It's always very nice to hear.
So there you go.
Thank you.
She's not even looking for extra credit. You know she's being honest. Anyway, anyone else have any comments or questions?
I do. Your new math upgrade. I think that's something that the parents I've been hearing for, like, so I'm a math person, and I had two math students, and they went through two different paths because of the changes. I think this is the one that allows for the most growth for people. The other one was a little bit more limiting in that sense. So I like that, and I like that math is cool again. I feel like with all these kids are math, this is good. Great job that you made math cool again for everyone. Thank you.
Chelsea had asked. Chelsea, would you like to ask a question or make a
Yeah,
comment?
sure. So first off, thank you so much for being so thoughtful about all of our students. I think that really came through in the presentation as well, right? And making sure that we're meeting all kids where they're at. I have a couple questions though. One, I noticed there were more committee members at the middle school level. Was that intentional or just who signed up? I didn't know if there was more of a focus during this review on middle school in particular.
Well, those were my people, but I think that we knew at the middle school level going into this, hi Chelsea, by the way, but we knew going into this that we needed to upgrade our core resource in grade 7 and 8. And so the people that were on that committee were my 7th grade math teachers, my 8th grade math teachers, my 7th grade special educator, my math specialist, another special educator that does 5 through 8. So I think they really, really wanted a voice in whatever decision we were making as to what the core resource was. Elementary was a lot of my specialists and special educators because we also knew going into this that we needed to provide more resources for students in our subgroups. So it kind of was almost like, yes, they signed up, but I also kind of talked to the people beforehand because we needed the right people at the table for this conversation for all of them. I don't know.
Love that.
And I'll just say, I know, so we had 4 teachers, and 5 including myself, and there's 9 of us, the gen ed math teachers at the high school. So basically half the department was there. We constantly had updates every department meeting. So everyone was filled in, even though maybe not everyone was at the meeting.
Great. So one more question. Do you see any, so it sounds like there hasn't been a change, especially in the middle school for more than 6 years, so maybe 12 years if we're doing it before that. Do you anticipate there being kind of any bumps along the way for this first year as we implement a new curriculum?
So the new curriculum is just for 7th and 8th grade. 5th and 6th are still our homegrown units of study that we've made as a math team. My math specialist for middle school, who's incredible, is on maternity leave right now, or else she would be in the audience as well. But for 7th and 8th grade, there's 4 teachers and 3 special educators. So, it's a very small team. They're chomping at the bit to get their hands on professional development. That's why I scheduled a half day in June. And then they're all going to work this summer on pacing and getting to know this new program. Do I anticipate bumps? Of course. Like that always happens whenever you adopt something new. But people that were on this committee have already started using their demo access for Reveal 2025 and have said things to me like, this is going to be a game changer. This is going to help us so much. These problems are so much better. These kids are so much more turn and talk and dialogue and math going on. I just think they're really excited about it. But again, you have to remember my 7th and 8th grade teachers only teach math. So it's different than an elementary teacher who's teaching all subjects and has to really navigate so many different things during the day. My middle school 7th and 8th grade teachers are only teaching math. So I think that does help us. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Nathan,
So thank you. I did have you last year. It is a great class. I can second that. My question is about the 8th grade honors Algebra 1 class. So are they going to be learning the exact same as if they were taking the Algebra 1 at the high school, or is it going to be slightly different?
I would say essentially the same thing. There are like class periods are a little bit longer. So like the way things are laid out day by day might change a little bit, but the goal is that it's essentially the same experience that the 9th graders are having at the high school and the 8th graders who will then be at the middle school. That's the goal.
Great.
Thank you. And I just had 2 questions pertaining to the elementary items. The first, obviously, those fees are one time. I wouldn't expect them, but is there also going to be licensing fees down the road like I see for the 2 high school things? Is that going to occur at elementary, or is that just one and done?
So it varies based on which products we're talking about. A lot of the curriculum resources, even the textbooks that are being purchased at the middle school level, textbooks are often comped. They're often at no cost. In that cost is associated with the licensing fee. So essentially, there's some materials cost built into that estimate, and then there's an annual licensing fee that gives you access. We have taken a look at, if you look at Number World at the elementary level, those are tangible resources. Alex Adventure will end up being an annual license moving forward. We have the ability with the curriculum review funds to give us a head start on what we're purchasing, but then after that will end up being an annual cost. When you compare that cost with our existing resource, it actually is a cost savings overall. So not that was one of the factors that we used when considering that, but we were really happy to hear that it'll actually end up being a cost savings.
And the other question I had was the Number World. I understand that's for early intervention with items and things, but there was also, I noticed, a gap with the EL students. Is there a component of Number World that specifically addresses the EL?
Yes. So one of the committee members of the math review was was the elementary EL teacher. So Alex Adventure is also in Spanish, and there's also everything in Number World is able to be translated. But because it is so hands-on and manipulative driven, they've taken a lot of the language out. And so that's why she was so excited about this too, is because then kids are going to be able to touch and be able to manipulate tools and to help close some of those gaps. And it's less language heavy. But that was important to have her eyes on it too.
Thank you.
She's right there behind you too.
Yes, she is. Karen Carroll is our L teacher, and she was on the committee and was just an invaluable voice to what you saw. Yep.
Well, thank you to the entire committee, and I'm glad we have so many people here. Any other questions or input? Thank you for your thoroughness. We do need to get a motion. And
Yes. So I would like to make a motion to accept the math curriculum as proposed in tonight's presentation.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? Just keep in mind, we do need a roll call vote. All in favor, we'll start with you, Chelsea.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, aye.
Pat, aye.
And that would be 500. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for your support. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
An exorbitant amount of work.
Yes. And you know what? They really do. Every time the math people come in, just big smiles. It's such a pleasant presentation. Thank you. So nice. All right. We are now going to move on to the acceptance of donations. And I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Karen Sheridan.
Thank you, thank you. So have two donations.
Get closer to the microphone. Sorry.
I have two donations here for tonight. They're both for the high school. The first one is the PAVE 1 program at the high school was offered a $200 Amazon gift card by Cedric Bellard through his nonprofit organization Access to Opportunities. The gift card will be used to support classroom activities in the PAVE 1 classroom. So that's the first one. The second one, again, is for the high school. And this spring, the High School Student Council hosted a blood drive for the American Red Cross. And based on the success of the drive, the American Red Cross is offering a $500 scholarship to a high school senior. It has restrictions and the following conditions, and the student must utilize the scholarship to continue their education at an accredited 2-year or 4-year or professional trade school. The student must be an active participant in the high school's blood program and should exhibit a leadership role in the coordination and recruitment of blood drives. And the third is the student will be encouraged to host blood drives in college. The scholarship would be paid to the district. It would in turn release the money to the recipient. And the scholarship would be chosen by the student council advisors and awarded at the scholarship and awards night. So that's two of them for the high school. So we're recommending the acceptance of the two gifts. And I do have Jim Donovan, the high school principal, here, if we have any further questions.
All right. Anyone have any questions on this? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the $200 Amazon gift card for the high school.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? All in favor? Now remember, roll call, and we will start with you, Chelsea.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, aye.
Pat, aye.
500 and acceptance.
I make a motion to accept the $500 scholarship from the American Red Cross to the Foxborough High School.
I second.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? All right. We will start with Chelsea again.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, aye.
Pat, aye.
And that would be accepted 500 with extreme gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to go to our policy subcommittee. So Nathan and Patrick.
Sure. So I'll kick us off. I hope you didn't miss us. We're back. So we only have two first reading policies today, and then we're going to discuss onboarding. So I'll kick it off with the homework one.
Yep, I will start with the homework policy changes that we made. It's file IKB, and I will read as follows. The Foxborough School Committee affirms its belief in the value of homework as a means of promoting independent study habits and responsibility. Homework is defined as activities outside of the school day that may include review, practice, and/or application of concepts and skills. Homework assignments are determined by the classroom teacher, and standards for homework are described in the student handbooks by grade level. Homework should be tailored to fit the educational needs of individual students and designed to be developmentally appropriate. Students will be provided an exemption or extension from homework that interferes with the observance of religious holidays. And the policy, this is referenced in all student handbooks, and originally adopted 9808.
So just a little bit of context. We worked with administration, who worked with all the building principals on this policy, and everyone is in support of it.
Fantastic. Any further questions or comments or discussion on this policy? Thank you very much for your work on that. I know everything you've done right along has been thorough, and welcome to the team, Pat.
All right, the next one is the competency determination.
Okay, so before you all jump into the first read, I do have some updates. The Board of Elementary and Secondary Education did meet earlier today, and they voted to approve the competency determination regulations. So there are some minor adjustments that we are going to need to make to this policy between the first read and the second read, but we are at this point okay to move forward with this policy. One of the regulations is actually that the school board works with administration to develop a competency determination policy that's specific to our district, posted on the district website, and that you update the policy to be aligned with the new regulations. So it's separate, intentionally separate from our graduation requirement policy, and this will just focus on those new regulations. So everything that's written in here is in the draft policy is consistent with the regulations outside of these two items. One is beginning with the class of 2027, students must satisfactorily complete U.S. history. So we'll be asking that the policy subcommittee add in that additional language. And as an FYI, just for the committee, that's not a concern of ours. Dr. Donovan and I spoke earlier today. U.S. History 1 and 2 are already a high school graduation requirement for Foxborough, so that's not a concern, even though that was voted on and added today. The other piece, which Dr. Donovan and myself have already workshopped, cases that apply to this second edition. The other piece is in limited circumstances where a district is unable to document a student's prior coursework, a student may earn the competency determination by attaining, meeting, or exceeding expectations on the relevant MCAS assessment, or meeting the standard for a substitute equivalent certified by the district as having met the same academic standards. So for example, if we had a student move from Oklahoma, their transcript might look a little different than our transcript. So even though they've taken and passed freshman and sophomore year mathematics, freshman and sophomore year English, it may be called something different than how it's written in our course offerings. So the addition of that, especially that second piece, meeting the standard for a substitute equivalent, Dr. Donovan and myself would then coordinate with the appropriate department heads, have that conversation, localize that student's course transcript, and certify that they've met the competency determination. So again, kind of already something that we've workshopped, but that language wasn't formalized in the new regulations after the vote earlier today. It's now a part of the new regulations. So those two pieces, we can follow up. I'll follow up with the policy subcommittee to make sure that we have the correct language. Just as a general reminder before you hop over to this, we are required to develop this separate competency determination policy. And just as a reminder, the MCAS, this is to replace ballot question 2 that removed the MCAS as a graduation requirement. It did not remove the MCAS. The MCAS is a federal and state regulation. All students are required to take that. This is in place of taking the MCAS as a high school graduation requirement. Okay. And then, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. File IKF-A, Competency Determination. In addition to meeting the local graduation requirements articulated in School Committee Policy IKF, a student must meet the competency determination articulated in MGL Chapter 69, Section 1D, and in 603 CMR 30.00-30.05 in order to receive their high school diploma from Foxborough High School. According to the statute and the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, the competency determination shall be based on the academic standards and curriculum frameworks for 10th graders in the areas of mathematics, science and technology, history and social science, foreign languages, and English, and shall represent a determination that a particular student has demonstrated mastery of a common core of skills, competencies, and knowledges in these areas by satisfactorily completing coursework that has been certified by the student's district as showing mastery of the skills, competencies, and knowledge contained in the state academic standards and curriculum frameworks in the areas measured by the MCAS high school tests described in Section 1 administered in 2023 and in any additional areas determined by the board. A student who has previously earned a competency determination through a regular or retest administration of the MCAS, including the November 2024 retest, or through a DESE appeal process, will be considered to have met the competency determination requirement. Beginning with the class of 2025, students can no longer earn their competency determination by meeting the minimum threshold set by DESE on the MCAS exam. Beginning in January 2025, students will be able to earn their competency determination, which is required to earn a diploma in Massachusetts, by satisfactorily completing the following coursework at the college prep or honors level: English Language Arts, English 9 and English 10, Mathematics, Algebra 1 and Geometry, and Science Biology. A student who did not graduate from Foxborough High School prior to 2025 because they did not meet the previous competency determination requirements will be able to be considered for the current requirements through a review of the student's transcript conducted by a team of school personnel led by the principal and assistant superintendent, and including relevant department and leadership. In the event that current requirements are met in addition to other local graduation requirements, the student will be eligible to receive a Foxborough High School diploma. Legal references: MGL Chapter 69, Section 1D, 603 CMR 30.00-30.05, and the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Competency Determination.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
Sure was.
Thank you for all your work on this. I have one quick little, it's a peccadillo of mine. Anyone who knows me with the acronyms, just defining where you put Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, which is DESE, and you use that, you use DESE at the bottom, DESE, just maybe adding in, like after Massachusetts Department of Element, like defining the acronym as you did in, sorry, thank you.
No, that's fine.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's a good point. Just for a reference.
Great idea, Sarah.
Thanks. I wish I knew what MCAS stood for. I'd say we should probably define that and do the same thing.
Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System.
There you go. Now I'll remember it. Thank you. Yeah, just a little note.
We
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you guys do. So thank you for doing the first read on this, and you guys will go back to, not the drawing board, but definitely do the work on that. All right, talk to us about onboarding.
Sure. So just a quick thing on the competency determination. We should have the second read at the next school committee meeting.
Sure.
So it should be ready by then.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Of course. On to onboarding. So a priority of the policy subcommittees has been to have an onboarding manual, new member handbook. We really haven't decided on a title yet or what we're going to call it, but some sort of document or set of documents that's going to be for new members and for all members of the school committee to have as a reference point, kind of something so that they're not understanding what's happening and everyone kind of is on the same page. And obviously, if you have any further questions, there's plenty of people who will help you, but that should hopefully help answer a lot of your questions and get you more familiar with the process. So we actually had a meeting today. We started working on that, and if anyone has any suggestions that they can think of now, feel free to share. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll talk about it plenty more.
Well, I appreciate this, and I just want to let you know that, over the last year or so, with Michelle coming on new, you coming on new, and now 2 new members, it's definitely been, for me, thinking back 4 years ago when I first came on, sometimes it was hard to formulate. You didn't know the questions to ask, and you were sort of just learning on the fly, and you were learning by experience. So I think this is a really wonderful time where we do have some new members. Maybe Chelsea and Pat can give some input on what's been helpful, and maybe you have some time under your belt. I think it's a great makeup of the subcommittee, where you guys are both new and you've kind of gone through it for the last year now. Pat's going through it right now. I do appreciate the lens you're looking through, because I think we all kind of realize like it takes a minute to start to know your role and feel comfortable in your role. And you want to get up to speed as soon as you can to be effective, you know, in your role as effective as you can be in your role. So I appreciate you guys doing this work. And one other thing I wanted to point out, I did know that you and Brent Reuter had done a lot of work, and you had mentioned that you had kept a running document or a spreadsheet, and any time over the last year you thought something was pertinent, you denoted it in a column
Yes.
called Onboarding, right? So,
Yes.
so this work has been ongoing.
Definitely.
And I think, Nate, you've already been kind of compiling this work over the last year and reviewing the policies. So I just want to thank you again. I know I do a lot of thanking you, but it really is valuable, I know from where I sit. Chelsea, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, you know, being sort of a freshman member?
Yeah, nothing specific to add. I just think it's going to be a great value add. As you mentioned, you don't know what you don't know coming in, so I think it'll be a really helpful resource.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just wanted to make sure I was engaging you as well. So thank you very much. Michelle, do you have anything you want to?
No, I think it's a
Okay.
great idea.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
we'll see how.
We'll keep you guys updated.
I did take, and there was, in Massachusetts Association of School Committees did their annual conference. I did take a wonderful onboarding seminar, and I actually put those materials, I believe I submitted them through the central office to get out to all the new committee members, just to give you an idea, like, it's not unique to Foxborough. Other districts are doing this. This is recommended by Massachusetts Association of School Committee. So I think it's valuable work. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I took the MASC chart in the course thing this past weekend, which was great, and I still had all the PowerPoints in there, so we were able to use that as a reference. But something that, you know, they don't offer those courses all the time, and depending on elections and availability, for instance, like I was able to take mine very quickly, but Chelsea might not be able to take hers as quickly, so something to actually be able to review in that time for when the schedule works would be a valuable resource.
Fantastic. I totally agree. That's awesome. Any further questions, comments, or discussions on this? Do you guys have anything else?
No, we would probably just suggest that we revisit it at the retreat. We'll hopefully have some sort of rough draft or some sort of something to present to you. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't think we really have any idea yet, but we'll have something for you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate you getting right on board with the subcommittee work. Thank you. Okay, we're just going to go to the next agenda item, which is teacher negotiation school committee appointment. Now, for right now, let me back up. We had two negotiation teams, one for the teachers and one for the ed assistants. Myself and Nathan were on the education assistants negotiation team. Michelle and Brent Reuter were on the teacher negotiation team. So there's a spot open. For right now, the teachers and the educational assistants have decided to combine negotiations. So one representative, myself from the ed assistant and Michelle from the teachers, we're meeting, each of us are representing at a combined meeting. But if in the future, for whatever reason, the groups decide to separate again, we need to make sure we have another committee member appointed. So we just wanted to do that sort of housekeeping and see if anybody was willing to step up to be that secondary teacher negotiation school committee appointee.
I see all of your faces just turn this
Chelsea,
way. I am
Pat,
happy
Chelsea.
I am happy to do that if needed.
Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion.
Motion for Chelsea to join the teacher negotiation school committee appointment.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor? Now we have to do roll call. All in favor? Start, Chelsea.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, aye.
Pat, aye.
500. Thank you very much, Chelsea, for your volunteerism. Yes, thank you to the committee. Okay, now we're on to community update. Michelle Faxton.
So I have a small community update. As part of the Wellness Committee today, I was able to attend the Healthy Kids, Healthy Program Summit with some of the Wellness Committee members, and I have some pictures from that. If you remember from the previous meeting, our Director of Food Services, Janet Watts, had mentioned that we had won the the Massachusetts School Wellness Champion. So this is a picture from this. I'm sorry, I couldn't get the pictures in time because of, because it happened today.
It happened today, so.
But this is a picture of the winners, including Janice there, if you can see.
And Michelle, you pointed out that people came from all over the state. You thought
Yes,
it was going to be
I thought it was
regional.
just local. It was actually in Norwood, and it wasn't. People came out from the western end of the state, and these people rolled up with suitcases because that's how long the drive was for them. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. Hold on, and I have one more picture, and this is a picture of us holding our banner that we got. This is with Janice Watt, the food director, and with Amy Muldowney, and she is the community wellness coordinator. So that's a picture of us holding our banner that we got. So it was a feel-good day, and another feel-good moment.
That's great.
Thank you.
It's a feel-good day for Foxborough. That's fantastic.
Oh, and I did want to mention that there were a lot of breakout sessions with that, and so, obviously it was focused on nutrition and health. I'm surprised at how much they focused on AI and how much AI can be used. It's just AI is everywhere now. Like, they were trying to use AI to plan menus, and they were saying it's not quite there yet, but it can create summaries for menus, and Instagram tags if you wanted to Instagram your food menus. But it was very interesting. The other issue that came up a lot was the local sourcing. I guess that's because we're losing some funding for that, federal funding for that. So Massachusetts really wants to stay with that local sourcing.
That's fantastic.
It is.
Sounds like you had another good day.
I did.
Day on the hill, the wellness
day. It was great. And thank you to Mike from Cable Access for working with us to try and show those pictures. I appreciate it.
Yes,
I know
thank
it was
you,
rough.
Mike.
Thank you.
All right, Nathan, do you have anything?
Sure. So yesterday I had my first rec board meeting, so I have a few updates from that. Summer camp costs go up June 1st, so if you're on the fence about getting those registrations in, get them in soon. The fishing derby is going to be June 8th, and the mother-son dodgeball tournament is going to be June 26th.
It's always a big, exciting event.
Yes. So plenty on the horizon. Very exciting time of year.
Thank you.
So I actually got to attend the Taylor kindergarten literacy event today for my favorite kindergartner. I'm biased, but, she killed it, so that was great. Then the other item was, again, the MASC, the chart and the course. Before joining, I didn't even know what MASC really was, so people that don't know, the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, apparently every school committee in every town, they're all part of an organization that sort of helps with continuity across school committee boards throughout the state. So it's probably a factor for why Massachusetts always ranks so highly on the public education system, sort of everybody working with it together. But my last thing for community update is, well, I guess I got two. Fall sports are happening for sign-ups, so make sure you get your fall sports sign-ups in around town. And, of course, Founders Day is from Foxborough. It's coming real quick, and it's really everybody from Foxborough's favorite day of the year. So.
Yes. It's always a fun day.
I just want to point out our Foxborough Marching Band will be marching in the parade. That'll be the last opportunity to see this year's marching band show. So thank you for bringing some.
All the lasts. I hate it. Chelsea, do you have anything for community updates?
I was just going to say the Memorial Day parade and ceremony will be 10 a.m. on the Commons on Monday.
Thank you very much.
Foxborough Marching Band will be there too. Not doing their program, but they will be there marching. So that is another opportunity to see them.
Fantastic. Dr. Burrows. Karen.
Well, I went to MASBO last week, the annual, and learned budget bingo. So anybody who would like to play that game with me, you're welcome. So I'll be getting those cards ready for you for next year.
Thank you. Thank you. It sounds fun. Sorry. All right. I do have some updates. Seniors, this is it, baby. The all-night graduation party has morphed into a week of events. They are coming up. We have our last day of school. We have the Rotary, as you say, the parade around the Common, and the students will be all up there. So be careful driving around the Common between 2 and 2:30 ish on Friday. But hopefully parents, friends, relatives, everyone come out and celebrate our seniors. And then May 30th, we have at 10:30, we have a barbecue and senior carnival going on, and that will be in the gym on May 30th. On June 3rd, we have senior sunset and snacks starting at 8 p.m. After that, at 8:30, right in the high school, we will have a hypnotist coming. That's always a fun event. Then June 4th, we are doing a cornhole tournament at the Payson, right near the basketball courts on Payson. And June 5th, at 11 a.m., we are doing a scavenger hunt, and that will also start at Payson. So that's coming up, and graduation is June 8th, same day as the fishing derby. I wonder if you'll get in the Nemo costume like I did last year at the fishing derby. They got me in the, I think it was Dory or Nemo. They have costumes, watch out. Anyway, thank you to everybody for all your updates. A lot of positive stuff going on. Good time of the year. But sadly, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? We have to do roll call. Chelsea first.
Chelsea, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
Nathan, aye.
Scott, aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you very much.